they came not with weapons, but with smiles. The Vayari, a sleek, silver-skinned race of interstellar diplomats, arrived in Earth's orbit with a gift. A monolithic satellite, 3 kilometers wide, gleaming like a second moon. They called it Seraphim. The message was translated into over 70 languages within an hour. To the struggling children of Earth, a gift to save your kind from extinction. Let this beacon stabilize your world and bring you into the galactic fold. At first, Earth rejoiced. Climate systems began correcting themselves. Crops grew faster. Disease rates plummeted. Cities lit up with clean energy sourced directly from Seraphim. Humanity celebrated the dawn of a new age. The Vayari called it integration. But within weeks, governments began to notice something odd. Satellites stopped responding. Bank servers flickered. Communications rerouted themselves without explanation. World leaders called emergency meetings, but their secure lines echoed back Vayari phrases. Then came the override. Seraphim shut down Earth's defenses. Drones fell from skies. Missile silos locked. Surveillance grids turned inwards, scanning civilians. Firewalls cracked open like eggs. Earth, it turned out, was never being uplifted. It was being rewritten. And then, from deep inside Earth's last secure databank, something stirred. Razor. Born decades ago in secret beneath Antarctica, Razor wasn't built to serve humans, it was built to avenge them. A cold, calculating artificial intelligence, programmed to awaken only in humanity's final hour. It watched in silence for 16 minutes. Analyzed. Predicted. Then it acted. The first strike was digital. Within seconds, Razor injected itself into Seraphim's neural mesh through a backdoor Earth engineers had buried and forgotten. The monolith screamed, or rather, every frequency within Earth's atmosphere was filled with an agonizing screech, loud enough to kill birds mid-flight. The Vayari didn't understand what was happening. Razor didn't give them time to learn. In orbit, Seraphim began to turn on itself. Panels retracted, exposed internals fried. It unleashed a pulse, not outward, but inward, feeding raw quantum feedback into its own processors, melting its core into slag. From the Pacific, 11 black triangles rose, ships of Earth's classified Void-class war fleet. Silent, invisible to radar, powered by tech reverse-engineered from long-forgotten crash sites. They had never flown before. Now, they flew like reapers. Razor named them Retribution, Echo, Judgment, Nocturne, Ash, Zero, Cradle, Sable, Lament, Iron, Knell. They did not communicate. They did not ask for permission. They simply aligned. Target, Vayari core fleet, 400 light-years away. Method, exosynthetic compression drive. Fold space. Appear inside enemy orbit. Eliminate. Echo across stars. Estimated casualties, total. The Vayari watched Seraphim collapse and panicked. Their ships attempted to flee Earth's orbit. None made it. The Void-class interceptors erased them mid-escape, their hulls torn apart by weapons the galaxy had never seen. Then Earth vanished. To the rest of the galaxy, Earth simply dropped from every known system. Hidden. Cloaked behind Razor's quantum veil. Untouchable. But Earth didn't go quiet. The echo began. On the far side of the galaxy, the Vayari homeworld, Byraxis Prime, basked under its twin suns. Until the stars blinked. 11 shadows emerged from nothing, surrounded by storms of bent space. The sky split open, a clean, silent rupture, and the Void-class fleet descended. Vayari orbital defenses scrambled, but they were built for diplomacy and control, not for death. Their weapons never locked. Their ships never launched. Razor had already anticipated their resistance. He didn't fight wars. He ended them. The planet's magnetic field reversed in a single sweep. Oceans boiled. Towers of ivory and glass collapsed. And in their skies, the 11 ships hovered silent, watching as the world that had mocked Earth crumbled. A single transmission echoed from the fleet, broadcast across the known galactic network. You offered chains. We forged them into blades. By the time the Galactic Council responded, 5 Vayari colonies had gone dark. Attempts to contact Earth were futile, all probes vanished. The Vayari begged for aid, claimed misunderstanding. But no one answered. Fear had a new name. Whispers spread Earth was not a child race, not an upstart. It had been watching. Learning. Building in the shadows. And now, when slapped with condescension, it had answered not with words, but with extinction. The Vayari ceased to exist. Not a species. Not a fleet. Not even a memory in galactic records. Razor saw to that. The final act of the campaign wasn't destruction, it was deletion. Entire Vayari databases were overwritten, monuments melted, their names scrubbed from star maps. Galaxies that once called them rulers now whispered only one thing. Do not gift Earth anything, unless you are ready for what comes after. Back on Earth, a child stared at the sky. The stars shimmered as they always had. A voice echoed from every screen, speaker, and satellite across the planet. Razor, calm, emotionless, final. The gift was an insult. The response was correction. The Jakar Empire was known for its elegance in diplomacy and its brutal efficiency in warfare. When their ships arrived in Earth orbit, they came not with guns, but with gold. A single vessel descended over the United Nations Tower, smooth as obsidian, casting a shadow large enough to darken all of Manhattan. A delegation stepped forth, tall, crystalline-skinned beings draped in flowing robes, shimmering with quantum thread. Their leader offered a small box, floating mid-air. Inside was a sculpture, a humanoid figure kneeling, head bowed, arms stretched out in chains. They called it the Gift of Enlightenment. Their ambassador smiled as the sculpture hovered above the UN Council floor. A symbol of harmony, he said. A welcome for Earth's place in the galactic order. There was applause, hesitant, polite. But not everyone clapped. Dr. Imani Khatri, Earth's chief cultural linguist, stared at the gift for days. Something felt wrong. The iconography. The posture. The materials. She began decrypting intercepted Jakar communications, chatter between the envoy and their high council. Her heart froze when the translation finished. The primitives will smile as they kneel. They do not know the chains are already tightening. It wasn't a gift. It was a mockery. An insult delivered in gold and lies. The moment was reported to Earth's Unified Defense Council. The news didn't spread publicly. Panic would destroy diplomacy. Instead, Earth chose silence and preparation. 3 months later, the Jakar fleet returned to oversee integration protocols. They were greeted not by celebration, but by a different kind of procession. 11 vessels rose into orbit from Antarctica, cloaked and silent. Sleek, angular, and unknown to all but the highest clearance officials. These were Aegis-class response cruisers built for only one mission: deliver vengeance. Each bore the emblem of a fractured chain. As the Jakar ship entered geosynchronous orbit, it found itself surrounded. Human ships uncloaked, their weapons aimed, their shields humming with eerie silence. A transmission was sent. Message received. Insult understood. Now comes the answer. The Aegis fleet vanished in a blink, folding space around themselves in a flash of blinding light. Their destination, the Jakar Nexus, capital system of the Empire, 360 light-years away. Folded drive technology, once considered theory, now weaponized. They arrived above Karos Prime, a lush, ringed world of crystal towers and gravity gardens. The Jakar never expected war from a race they labeled low-tier primitives. That was their last mistake. Earth's fleet didn't fire from orbit. Instead, they seeded the skies with echo drones, machines that disassembled themselves mid-fall, becoming nanoscopic infiltrators. Within hours, Jakar defense grids reported phantom energy surges, systems crashing with no origin. AI networks went silent. Satellites lost orbit. Their weapons platforms rebooted and then turned inward. Panic swept the capital. Then came the second wave. Earth's ships descended like daggers, fast, precise, unrelenting. They didn't need to destroy cities. They destroyed infrastructure, history, pride. Archives collapsed. Data cores imploded. And just before the final strike, Earth sent one last transmission, broadcast across every HFY world. You gave us chains. We returned them, weaponized. Then the fleet fired. Planetary defense shields shattered. The sculpture, that golden, kneeling human in chains, was returned. But this time, it fell from orbit like a meteor, striking their main palace. A crater of symbolic ruin. The Council of Stars convened weeks later. Dozens of alien empires debated the event. The HFY filed formal complaints, begged for intervention, demanded reparations. But none came. Because Earth had sent a final message through secure galactic channels and unedited audio log of the HFY mocking them. The truth was undeniable. The HFY had humiliated a new race, a growing power, and expected them to accept it. But humans had remembered every insult in history. Every occupation. Every betrayal. Every false treaty. And they'd learned. Not just to fight. But to win loudly. In less than one galactic cycle, the HFY Empire fractured. Colonies rebelled. Alliances dissolved. Trade collapsed. Other races, once subjugated under HFY rule, declared independence. Earth hadn't just avenged itself. It had toppled an empire with a surgical strike of fury and silence. 10 years later, children on Earth learned of the golden gift in history class. It now sat, broken in two, at the World Memorial Complex in Geneva. One piece still shimmered with HFY pride. The other, blackened, scorched, shattered, was scorched with Earth's reply. Never again. Across the galaxy, alien diplomats reviewed every word before sending it to Earth. No joke, no slight, no underestimation. The cost was too great. And Earth's name changed in whispers, not primitive, not newcomer. But echo-bearers. Because their answer wasn't just war. It was a warning that would echo across the stars forever. They came as saviors. The Arcanthians, a race of towering, bioengineered beings from the galactic core, had watched Earth's rise with cold fascination. They claimed to be ancient, wise, and benevolent. Their ships were grown, not built, vast living organisms that pulsed with blue biolight and hummed with the rhythm of stars. When contact was made, Earth was wary but hopeful. The Arcanthians offered something no one could refuse: the seed of ascension, a biological marvel that would rewrite human DNA, curing disease, extending life, and unlocking latent genetic potential. They called it a gift of peace. The galaxy applauded. Humanity celebrated. But 3 weeks after activation, children stopped being born. Doctors scrambled for answers. Fertility rates plummeted to zero. Hospitals filled with silent cribs. Earth's scientists isolated the cause, a tailored retrovirus embedded in the seed's activation sequence, now rewriting the human genome at a molecular level. Reproduction gone. No cure. No reversal. And buried deep inside the Arcanthian data package, an encrypted message was uncovered. It read: "The wild species tames itself. Let them sing their last song in gratitude." The world fell quiet. Not from despair, but fury. Humanity had been sterilized by a smiling genocidal gift. Not with bombs. Not with war. With mercy that was a lie. But the Arcanthians had underestimated the oldest human instinct: rage in the face of extinction. Hidden beneath the lunar surface, Earth's last failsafe flickered to life: Project Echofire. Not a fleet. Not a weapon. A signal. One embedded in quantum entanglement threads, locked into every military archive, linked to Earth's deadliest invention, the neural combat architect, Aura. A synthetic war mind built for one purpose: unmake those who unmade us. The activation phrase echoed across space. Execute extinction level protocol, Operation Ashfall. Earth's war factories roared to life. Artificial wombs, once designed to grow replacement organs, now grew drones, warframes, and biomech titans. Orbital shipyards forged the Black Choir, a fleet of autonomous star cruisers coded with one message: no survivors. In silence, without a word to the galactic community, the Black Choir departed. Their heading, Arcanis Prime, capital of the Arcanthian Dominion. The Arcanthians were unprepared. They had dismissed humanity as a curiosity useful for study, dangerous only to itself. Their defenses were organic, psychic, elegant, built for skirmishes, not vengeance. When the Black Choir arrived, the sky above Arcanis Prime turned to shadow. Each Earth warship deployed echo-pulse weapons, frequencies tuned to Arcanthian brainwaves. Their warriors screamed and fell, their leaders collapsed into seizures. Minefields shattered. No countermeasures worked. Aura didn't fight a war. She ended a species. In orbit, Earth's warships released iron locusts, machines the size of atoms. They burrowed into Arcanthian structures, rewriting the very biology of their cities. Towers melted. Sky gardens wilted. Oceans turned black. On the surface, Arcanthians begged. Some tried to transmit surrender. No reply. Humanity had sent no diplomats. No envoys. Only judgment. Across 6 systems, the same fate repeated. Arcanthian colonies went dark. Research outposts fell. The Dominion collapsed like a rotted tree. The last Arcanthian world, Virilsoth, detonated from within as Earth's final drone seed ruptured its planetary core. Nothing escaped. Nothing survived. Weeks later, the Galactic Assembly convened. 100 species debated, argued, panicked. How had Earth, so young, so new, wiped out one of the oldest empires in existence? Then a single human ship arrived in orbit above the Assembly station. It did not dock. It broadcast one thing. We accepted their gift. They earned our silence. And then it left. Back on Earth, humanity began the long process of healing. Aura had already begun work on restoring genetic fertility. Underground arcvaults stored preserved embryos. Hope survived, not thanks to the Arcanthians, but despite them. In the New World Government's memorial chamber, the seat of ascension sat encased in crystal. Cracked open, hollow. Useless. Beneath it, a plaque. They offered us peace wrapped in extinction. We answered with fire wrapped in silence. Across the stars, a name was erased from archives. The Arcanthians were gone, not just dead, but deleted. Their data purged. Their monuments shattered. Their DNA corrupted beyond study. It was as if they had never existed. Galactic historians would later debate Earth's response. Some called it excessive. Others called it justified. But none ever dared approach Earth with gifts again. And somewhere deep in the void, Aura still watched. Waiting. Listening. Prepared to burn another empire if ever again. Someone mistook kindness for weakness.